All right, for more on what drove today's trading, we're going straight to our Street Fighters for the rest of your market roundup. Scott Bauer in Chicago, Andrew Keene, our closer here on set. Scott, I mean, is that really what it came down to? Do you think today people were encouraged, slightly encouraged by that weak jobs report because it means no taper come September?
I mean, that's probably the underlying theme here, but I think there's more, I don't want to say cynicism, but at least on the trading floor, there's just a lot of bewilderment, let's say, on good news, bad news, bad news. Yeah, even in Chicago here. Good news, bad news, bad news.
I've never heard of any cynicism out of Chicago. That's crazy. Crazy talk.
No, but in general, I'm sure that's what kind of drove the market here is maybe it's not happening in September. It might happen in October, November.
Well, I'm surprised we didn't see a bigger move then. Andrew Keene, I mean, if people are that excited by the idea that there's no taper in September because jobs are poor, why not a bigger move?
Well, I think we made the measure move target this week. I look at the at-the-money straddle a lot, and it was implying the S&P 500.
At-the-money straddle meaning you are long or short, both a call and a put. Yeah. So you just need a move one way or the other.
Right, and it was implying the market was going to move 20 points in the S&P 500 futures. They broke out of the range, new all-time high. We always joke in the office when the futures are down 3-5 points, we might as well buy them because they're going to go up. If you look at today, we are down this morning. We ended up again today. You know, it's very, very hard to be shorting this market. I've been long puts. You know, when I lose money on the puts, I lose money because the stock market's going higher on time decay. And if you look at the CBOE's volatility index, known as the VIX, it's down almost every single day. It's been up 4 days.
Which means the longer you hold options, be they puts or calls, you're losing money because you're just taking the premium out. The lower VIX means lower options prices.
Going lower every day. Right. Even this morning when the futures are down 5 points, the VIX was actually lower, and I use that as one of my indicators. You know, we see oil, you used to trade oil a lot at 107. Is that going to affect the market? That should affect the market. It used to be $80.
You would think so.
Scott, we're going to get you back in here in a second, but quickly, I just want to go to Andrew because we have Facebook today closing for the first time above its IPO price of $38 a share.
It actually got up to 38.51, and then it closed right around this 38 level. This is such a key, crucial level. And like we talked about earlier, I think there's some overhead supply here. But, it has been fighting this 38 level.
You think it's going to have a hard time staying above this level?
Well, it's made higher highs for, I think, the last 3 days. So today it did make another higher high for technically that is strong. But it seems like when it gets above the 38, we've also seen huge, massive volume, 100 million shares on days like this.
Why the overhead supply, I wonder? You've already seen so many lockup periods, and all the retail investors that were spooked by the IPO debacle probably got out already. So where's all the supply?
I think anybody that bought it at the IPO price has finally said, thank you, I'm finally back to break even, let me out of this thing. I've seen this thing go down for so long. It was supposed to be hyped as the greatest IPO since Google, and it just fell flat on its face, and it left a very salty taste in investors, especially in the IPO market. So they finally get back to break to even. Let me out of this trade. I've held it down to 18. It's up 115% since the lows, up 40% on earnings. Yes, they had a good quarter, but this level is just so huge, and we see it by the volume. It looks a little exhausted.
Another big stock in the news today, Scott Bauer, happened to have been Dell. A lot of optimism that, in fact, this deal now is going to get done.
I mean, that's certainly what it looks like. I mean, there was a lot of call buying out there. There had been actually a lot of call buying over the last couple weeks. Each time along the way here that there's been news out, everyone said it's a done deal, it's a done deal. But last week, we saw activity pick up. We saw activity pick up in the upside calls. So now who knows? I mean, Icahn came out earlier today and said, well, that's great for the shareholders, but there's still something else here. He's dangling that carrot out there. So, it was up 70 or so cents today. A huge, huge move. It may not be the end, but it's got to be real close.
What about Berkshire Hathaway, Scott? The earnings are going to be coming out within probably about an hour. What do we think from Mr. Buffett?
I think he's going to temper any negativity that comes out about the slowdown in coal shipments, this, that, and the other. And at the end of the day, what he's going to say is we're invested in great companies, we're in this for the long run, and things the economy is turning around, which means, our stock price is going to go higher because he's invested in down-home American products. So I would think that's what he's going to say.
In other words, we're not going to learn anything new. It's the
exactly status quo.
It's status quo. Buy America and buy for the long term. Andrew, you made the comment about every time futures are down 4, 5, 6 points, you guys buy something just because this is a buy the dip market. How much is that because of the Fed?
I mean, I think it's strictly based on the Fed. You know, we've seen this, the jobs number. This is the third straight jobs numbers we actually rallied in the stock market on. And if you look at it, we haven't had 2 consecutive strong bearish days since the end of June. So it's up in a straight line. You know, for me, from my point of view, it's hard to buy a lot of these stocks or buy on a 52-week high, all-time high. You know, but their earnings, as we talked about, yeah, it's scary, but the earnings have been good, and stocks in general have been going up on earnings. So I don't mind trading earnings to the long side, but I think, you know, at some point we're going to have some correction to take the next leg higher. I don't think it just goes up in a straight line forever.
Andrew Keene, thanks so much. Don't go anywhere. That's your close, everyone. But we've got your first trade for tomorrow. Here's a look at what's coming up next on Street Smart.